Elizabeth Shearer, elder sister of Mary. I would regard her as my baby sister, as I am 8 years her senior. We were born 8 siblings from the family of Ernest Karooro and Victoria Kenjeya, 4 girls and 4 boys. Now we are only 3. Mary and I were very close. We did almost everything together and protected each other. As most speakers have eulogized her, she was a prolific writer and a woman of many firsts. She was indeed a very special individual. Coming to this element called sarcoidosis, which snatched her life in her prime years, it has been proved that life begins at 70. It's a chronic disease which she has lived with for over 15 years. It is incurable, but you can live with it. The first time it manifested itself, she went to South Africa and later to Nairobi. On both these occasions, it was not diagnosed. It was on the 3rd time in South Africa that they took a biopsy from her lung and knew that it was sarcoidosis. The 4th time it attacked her, she was treated in Dubai. On all the occasions, it was managed. Fair mourners, the attack which crushed her recently was a vicious one. Within no time, she went to hospital and was put on oxygen, which never before was the case. She was referred to Nakasero Hospital, which eventually changed the nostril-administered oxygen to the mask. One morning when I came to see her, as was the routine, when I opened the door halfway, I saw her eyes out of their sockets, and with a weak voice said she could not breathe properly. I quickly went and looked for the doctors, who rushed her for a CT scan. Thereafter, she was taken to HDU. After 5 days in this facility, I was woken up at 1:20 a.m. with a call from the doctor on duty. She said they were going to change her treatment and that they were going to sedate her. She also added, Mary scribbled a note to her to call and tell me that she was exhausted. I rushed to the hospital and find they had already intubated her. That was the last communication I had with my baby sister. Now, who is going to tell us folk tales? Forgive me, Mary, I was not able to protect you this time. It's a painful farewell till we meet again.
Some of us would stay at her home for some days, for a week or so. So we knew the whole of Karooro family. We knew the sisters, it was a big family. We knew the sisters, we knew the brothers. And they also loved us as Mary's friends. Mary was a woman of kindness and caring heart, one of who instinctively reached out to lift the others. Her compassion knew no boundaries. whether it was a stranger in need, a struggling student, or a friend in distress. She found ways, often quietly and at a great personal sacrifice, to bring hope, help, and healing. As you saw, the family, she may not have had her own biological child, but she raised many of her sisters' children, many of her brother's children, and even those other children who were not even relatives. They always found some room in her heart. Mary was also an avid reader. She read each and every piece of paper she got her hands on. Would go to the library, instead of doing research at Makerere, you find her in different departments trying to look for something else to read. She was a gifted poet. You've just heard her brother, how he speaks, and that was Mary too. She had a way with words that was both bold and beautiful. She wrote as she saw truthfully. She wrote her words, her feelings through her books, fearlessly and with deep conviction. She gave credit where it was due and never shying away from recognizing and celebrating the achievements of others. Her humor sparkled through her writing, making an even serious, truthful, easier to hear and embrace. And whenever you are reading Mary's books or articles, you just laugh. She would have that humor there, and you say, but Mary, what is this really? Her life was rich in purpose. She was an academician, a politician, and a philanthropist. And she balanced intellect, leadership, and generosity with a rare grace. She was deeply rooted in her culture. Mary loved her culture. As one of the friends who spoke before said, the way she used to love dressing in bitenge, traditional cultural dresses, traditional dresses, and she went out of her way to start. She was promoting it through her cultural center, Ntambiko Craft Center in Bushenyi. Those people who have passed there, you've said she had so many crafts, cultural crafts, and she was trying to promote this culture. A place where heritage came alive and traditions were celebrated. I remember recently when the president was going to Bushenyi, he even stopped there. He admired what she had displayed, and he talked about her a lot, and he said he was going to help to uplift the rest of her feelings, her views, and her intentions. Mary was a prayerful woman, and every time those friends were close to her, she would come and start telling you how she was praying about several people, about our country, and she would express her concerns, especially whatever was going, the current situation in the country, why people were fighting each other. And at the end, she would bless. She would say, I bless you. She was guided by both faith, and she did this both when she was calm and even in a storm. She always blessed others. As a team leader, she inspired loyalty and dedication, and she was leading by example. And we've just heard that the Femme Right Club, she was the founder because she wanted people to write, to know how to write and express themselves. One of her greatest passions was the empowerment of women and girls, the girl child, especially those who missed school due to monthly cycles. And therefore, she found practical solutions, turning barriers into bridges for their education and self-worth. Currently, Mary was in the process of building one of the best factories, I believe in Uganda, for making sanitary towels for girls, so that she would give them out, and she had planned to be giving these sanitary towels freely. She was selfless to the core and devoted family person to the family. She loved her family very much. She was caring for the well-being of everyone, often at the cost of her own resources. She loved children, embracing them with warmth and laughter, and she carried that same nurturing spirit into every relationship she formed. Her legacy is one of courage, compassion, and unwavering commitment to what is right. Though we will miss her presence, her voice and infectious laughter, her impact will continue to echo in the lives she touched, the minds she inspired, and the hearts she healed. Mary's legacy will never fade, for she has received that crown of glory that will never fade away. We rejoice even in our sorrow because Mary has entered her rest, and her work here will echo in eternity. Rest well, Mary, our friend. Thank you.
Beth Shira, elder sister of Mary. I would regard her as my baby sister, as I am 8 years her senior. We were born 8 siblings from the family of Ernest Karooro and Victoria Kenjeya, 4 girls and 4 boys. Now we are only 3. Mary and I were very close. We did almost everything together and protected each other. As most speakers have eulogized her, she was a prolific writer and a woman of many firsts. She was indeed a very special individual. Coming to this element called sarcoidosis, which snatched her life in her prime years, it has been proved that life begins at 70. It's a chronic disease which she has lived with for over 15 years. It is incurable, but you can live with it. The first time it manifested itself, she went to South Africa and later to Nairobi. On both these occasions, it was not diagnosed. It was on the 3rd time in South Africa that they took a biopsy from her lung and knew that it was sarcoidosis. The 4th time it attacked her, she was treated in Dubai. On all the occasions, it was managed. Fair mourners, the attack which crushed her recently was a vicious one. Within no time, she went to hospital and was put on oxygen, which never before was the case. She was referred to Nakasero Hospital, which eventually changed the nostril-administered oxygen to the mask. One morning when I came to see her, as was the routine, when I opened the door halfway, I saw her eyes out of their sockets, and with a weak voice said she could not breathe properly. I quickly went and looked for the doctors, who rushed her for a CT scan. Thereafter, she was taken to HDU. After 5 days in this facility, I was woken up at 1:20 a.m. with a call from the doctor on duty. She said they were going to change her treatment and that they were going to sedate her. She also added, Mary scribbled a note to her to call and tell me that she was exhausted. I rushed to the hospital and find they had already intubated her. That was the last communication I had with my baby sister. Now, who is going to tell us folk tales? Forgive me, Mary, I was not able to protect you this time. It's a painful farewell till we meet again. His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of Uganda, Right Honorable Amama Mbabazi, Right Honorable Hakana Rugunda and his wife Jocelyn, Haj Basaja Baraba, Mrs. Joy Ibara, for their contributions towards Mary's health. I also thank the many friends and relatives of hers who visited her in the hospital. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
JP Musigwa, and this was my young sister, Mary Karooro Okurut. I thank the bishop and the clergy, the government, the ministers, the retired MPs, etc., and my fellow mourners. I am here to speak on behalf of the family, but most important, to speak on behalf of myself, as I know and as I have observed Mary Karooro Okurut. Mary Karooro Businje was born, I do believe, maybe around 1953. Me, I was born in 1949. I was 4 years older than her. What we're going through is a task, and I will quote few people, because Mary Karooro Okurut was an international playwright. Ngugi wa Thiong'o recently died in the United States, and he was brought back, I think, in Kenya to be buried. He wrote a book, and he said a few words. And he said, there is no easy task. He is not to go wearing Omhuruturuzo, Maraka, Gataye. He wrote a book, an international book, and he said there was no easy task. What we have gone through in the last 3 weeks, when Mary Karooro Okurut was sick, was no easy task up to now. But I will be brief. Man is destined for 3 ceremonies when they are born. 1, when they are born crying because this world is not easy, as science has proved it, and the biblical facts have demonstrated. That birthday is supposed to be celebrated. Heaven dictates it. 2, the second ceremony is marriage. When she got married to Okurut, I'm the one who gave, and we celebrated that. And we were waiting for the 3rd occasion. The 3rd occasion, we are starting it now. We started it in Nairobi. I was also there in the ICU. About 15 machines monitoring, and they failed. But let me talk again about the life of Mary. Mary's name is Businje. Yeah, forget the Karooro. Karooro was his father. Forget the Kanyansi, this was the grandfather. But her names are Mary Businje. Now, I talk about 2 things. Mary, today is Maria's Day internationally, according to biblical facts and scientific proof. Today, the 16th of when? don't know, of August, is Maria's day. So without wasting time spiritually, she's in heaven. Don't ask yourself why. And again, according to biblical fact, immediately after you die, judgment, you don't go there because it's a free right. She's there. Now we come to life again on earth. That is Businje. Our father was a little bit visionary. He could see a little bit far. Where he started, nobody knows. But the name was Businje. Businje interpreted, I don't know, English Kare, Businje means peace. I was traveling with the world. I had my own problems. My first son, I called him Savannah. I had studied all the books of the world. Why did I call him Savannah? It was the biggest science in the whole world. The ancient Greeks, even if you study all and you don't study atalaxia, that is peace. You can't make it.
Thank you, Charles. And with us here is Gloria, one of the daughters of the late Okurut. And I wasn't expecting to speak, but no problem at all. There are two groups I would represent here. The first one is the SK Okurut and the Teso community. Mary has been with us all this time. About a year ago, we lost Onapito Ekomoloit, Honorable, and Mary was the vice chairperson of the organizing committee for the funeral of Onapito. I was the chair and she was the vice chair. And together we went with her to bury Onapito. That's just an illustration how she remained close to us, the community from Teso. And she was always there, very generous with her time and her resources, and she will be missed in that community. Another group with whom I have been exchanging on WhatsApp about Mary, very sorrowful about her passing, is a group known as the COVID Fund Committee. Honorable Dr. Ogunda, you remember that committee, you helped in setting it up. The chair is Emmanuel Katongole. The secretary was Dorothy Kisaka, who later became the Kampala KCCA ED. And there were about 7 of us. There are Aga Sekalala and others. And Mary was a leader in the fight against COVID at that time. And she was very particular about making sure that all the donations from the public were banked and were acknowledged. She made sure that we gave her regular reports, almost weekly reports of what money has come, where it is, and so on. And that group, very sorry to hear about this death of Mary. And they will be very pleased to hear that I had a chance to mention this here. We have lost Mary, that is all the planning of God and so on. And we just thank God for the time we have had with her. As a medic, I am tempted also just to mention the cause of death has been told to us by Dr. Luzike. It is a very rare disease, sarcoidosis. It is rare, not too much is known about it, but also very little is possible to be done to arrest and reverse it. It's a sort of an immune disorder. The body side starts to fight itself, and it leads to mainly lung and kidney problems. So there it is. We thank God for Mary's life. And I'm glad that, Charles, you've given me an opportunity to share with the mourners about what I know and feel about Mary. May her soul rest in eternal peace.
As that song is being played, come and talk about your sister.
What she said about our relationship, she said I was her first love. I was her first doll that she played with. What I want to say about Mom was the fun side of Mom. She would just call us and would dance. She would want a Lingala tune or Jamila, and she would challenge us to all go Pakachini. She taught us how to goya karo, how to make sauce, and she also made sure that she told us to always be selfless. And if we try and emulate your mom, just to have just a quarter of you will make you proud. Mami,
Yesu oli mwana gwandika omusai goodness is never sa.
In 1974, we were cohorts, 74 up to 77. Fortunately, again, we remain as teaching assistants in Makerere. And I was in Dagamashol Hall with the Honorable Kamateka. For her, she had a small place to stay near Lumumba Hall, and she would always visit Dagamashol Hall. Eventually, in 1980, when I went to Manchester University, I came back towards the end of 82. 83, when I visited my brother, he said, it is good you have come. We have a visitor here. Eventually, I saw Mary coming to the sitting room. I was overwhelmed. And Daddy said, we are going to marry your colleague. And eventually, we went to Bushenyi, performed the traditional marriage. And you people from Ankole know what it means. I went very early in the morning from Ankole Inn, where Daddy was with the late Mukwano, the late Same Jangu, the late Robert Langot. 5 o'clock, 5:30, we were in the Karooro home. I had been loaded with some little money to perform that traditional ceremony, where people were running for the money. I grabbed Mommy and put her to the vehicle, and we brought her. And that's now, henceforth, Mommy got the name Okurut added to her name. Fellow mourners, Mommy, as stated, a unifying factor in the family. She did not segregate anybody. She loved the Teso community. Had it not been the rebellion, Mommy would have been a perfectionist in Ateso speaking. But still, she grasped some of the language, as some of you know. She did not divide the children, who and who. The children from the side of my brother, and the unity on purpose for all the children coming from even her family. We were together. A unifier. And she loved the music, by the way. That's why in some of her attire in the head, she loved the Mbilia Bell, Kijo, this lady of South Africa. And she loved the music. That's why even she copied that attire of putting those things on the head. I would like to reiterate the fact that Mama loved my brother so much, to the extent that I nearly even also got arrested during the rebellion trying to take some medicine to Muzei. Because of her, she was always pushing me. You can go there, ride a bicycle and reach your brother. But we have lost her. As mentioned here, we didn't know Mommy had a problem of the lungs. We did not know. She was very secretive. But she has gone. God knew the time of her passing. All of us are going to join her. I don't want to speak much, but there are certain things my mother left in pursuit. We lost property. The family lost property. She has been trying to pursue it. I would like to have a chance, Honorable Right Honorable Deputy Speaker, give me a chance and I will visit and talk. We lost property, but we have not yet got it back. I don't want to say much, but I would like